Hi guys, this is Lace. Today I'm going to be talking through making an alt character. So whenever you're on a server, you normally have your main character that you build up, but then you can also click on your profile, click on settings, and then go to characters. Now from here, you're able to see all the characters you made in different servers, and then you can also see that in this server I have two characters. So one is a higher power, that would be my main character, and one is a lower power, that would be my alt character or farm character. So today I'm going to create another character in this kingdom. You can see that each kingdom can only have two characters, and whenever you hit the plus, you have to search up your kingdom code. So if I go back, I can see that code here. You can also see that there are new kingdoms being made, so if you wanted to start another character in another server, another kingdom, you can. And you can also see that some numbers get skipped, like here there's no 2020. So I'll search in this server, 1901. You can see it says I have 1 out of 2 characters made, so now I'm going to make that second character. Now, one small disclaimer is that whenever you make this character, for a while you're not able to access your other characters until you get through a certain part of the tutorial in the beginning. If you haven't played the game in a while, like from the beginning, then the tutorial is kind of like, wow, I forgot that existed, and it can be annoying to play through. So you can see we have like this little opening scene. I'm just going to skip through it. You don't need it for any of your gameplay. My advice when you're making a second character and going through all this again is to have some other task going on in the background, like laundry, dishes, and then you can just click buttons in between your tasks. So I normally hit skip like in between hanging up clothes. And in this part you can pick either one, it doesn't matter. And then it's about to start the battle scenes, I believe. So for these battle scenes, you can move around your little character, just like in the ads. But this is a very tiny part of the gameplay. And what I recommend is actually just like letting this part play out by itself while you complete other tasks around the house. It doesn't affect your gameplay at all. I don't think that being active determines if you win or lose these battles. And in the tutorial part especially, you're going to win them. So there's no need to actively participate unless you just really want to. And now that we have that victory, I will press town. And we'll skip through this. And now we'll start building our buildings. I bet if you're farther along in your gameplay, these 2-second buildings really evoke anger, because later on in the game, buildings take like 5 days or more. So this option is actually something that a lot of people forget about. So whatever you pick here, you can change that choice later. So I'm going to pick the sawdust for now. And later, whenever your villagers are getting sick or hurting, changing that food option is some way that you can give them more happiness, make them healthier. Same thing here where this choice is not irreversible, you can change it later. So it's not that important what you pick now. And another battle. And we're gonna let our little guys fight it out. Maybe I will try to help them a little bit to speed it up. Another thing I'll do is drag my person to the general vicinity of the bad guys and then just leave them there, because if they die, they'll respawn. These little chests, you may be like inclined to go pick them up. If you click on them, you can go pick them up, but they will actually auto be picked up as well, so there's no need to stress about getting to them in time. Those rewards will be given to you no matter what. Okay, all the bad guys are completed over here, and you can see these ones just got completed as well. And I have these chests lying around. It does make you pick up this one just because that's part of the tutorial. Okay, but then for those other ones, I'll leave them there on purpose just to show you guys like that you do get them eventually. Now we follow our goals, and these will kind of help us progress quickly. You can see I get resources in exchange for these goals, and those resources are necessary for developing your city. When I say necessary, I mean completing these tasks and getting those resources changes your gameplay from minutes to waiting longer, like an hour, for resources. So we'll claim all that. And upgrading your town center is pretty important. And this is where I'll go ahead and take the time to explain that there are two different kinds of alts or farms that you can want to progress. So if you're developing this alt as like another leadership member or a spy, then you're going to want to get them to Town Center 10 as fast as possible. That gives you the ability to DM other players, and you're going to want that ability if you want to be talking to people, getting to know people, spying on people, or like let's say your main alliance has an academy alliance and you want to be R4 in both, then to be an R4 you kind of have to DM people, so having that Town Center 10 is pretty essential. Now the other kind of alt you can have is more of a farm, and so you're giving your farm less life. You don't really play from that account or talk to other people from that account. And what the farm account is for you to attack for resources. You can see here I'm clicking to see what I need to upgrade my town center, and I have to upgrade my house. Instead of clicking, you can hold down the button. Sometimes I just get impatient. And then you can see here that whenever you have a character, you get the first 15 minutes of your second queue free. What I normally do is if I'm going to make an alt and then walk away from my phone, then I wait to use that. But because I'm right here, I will go ahead and use it so I can have two things going at once. And I can go ahead and start my next town center. So you can see we're kind of moving fast. One other thing I want to point out is that now that I can see my profile, I am able to click that and go over here to settings and go back to my other characters. So yes, I was away from my main account for like 5 minutes, but not an extended amount of time to worry about. And you can see that I did not have to wait for the alliance ability of this character in order to go back to my other character. This part about like assigning people gets so annoying once you've already like played through and you don't have that part anymore. You can see that I kind of skipped some of these tasks and go ahead and start them without looking because I know that overall I want to upgrade the whole town. Back to what I was saying about farms though, is that like your strategy of whether this is an alt or a farm will change what buildings you upgrade when. So if it's an alt and you want to use it to talk, then you'll focus entirely on your town center. So you'll be doing all the tasks you need in order to upgrade your town center. So I would literally just click town center, look at the tasks, and then complete them. Whereas with a farm, where you want resources, what you'll do is you'll upgrade everything that is behind this fence. So all the houses, all your mills, quarries, this in this clinic, and your kitchen. And these buildings are all towards getting your people happy. So your little villagers, it increases their happiness. So when you click here, oh, we haven't unlocked their happiness yet. I'll show you when we get to that. But basically, the game has a mechanic where you want to keep your villagers happy and satisfied and healthy. And so focusing on those buildings is one thing that will do that, where they will be less inclined to go on strike, because if they're unhappy, then they are going to go on strike and not work for you. And when that happens, you're going to develop less resources. And if the point of the account is resources, then you don't want that to happen. Okay, let me see what tasks I have finished. I need to go here. And let's see about our town center. We need the query. Now, whether your account is a farm or an alt, I will say that focusing on your town center for the first 6 levels is still important, because after level 6 is when you unlock alliances, and alliance help is going to speed up these buildings dramatically. And you can see that while my query is upgrading, that I'm going to continue upgrading other buildings as well. You always kind of want to have 2 things going at once. That way, you're not wasting any time. So now we have our town center for 3 minutes, and I have that house over there upgrading. And you don't want to use diamonds even if it's tempting, because diamonds are more useful for things like hero roulette, so you'd rather save them. And once our 15 minutes run out, we're actually about to spend 1,000 diamonds anyway to get our second building queue while we work. Okay, in your mail you can get these nice little rewards. You can see I get tower defense rewards, but they're really small. And the bell will keep going off as you keep expanding and getting more people in your town. You just kind of have to roll with it and keep assigning them their little tasks. Okay, and now that this is finished, I'm going to click into it and show you that you can click here and you can change what things you're feeding them. So I always pick this one because I want my people to be as happy as possible, just so that they don't go on strike and they keep giving us good resources. Almost done with that town center, 1 minute left. And you can see I'm just kind of looking around the map for other things that I can upgrade. And you can see that chest is still there, but it will get auto picked up in a minute. Okay, once everything's at level 3, I'm kind of stuck waiting on my town center. Oh, this guy's still at number 1. And we can also click up here to assign our people. And over here it will give us their stats of health and food. This part of the game mechanics lasts a very short time. After like Town Center 10, you're not going to be caring about those stats. But for now, they go back to what I was telling you about wanting, if you keep it as a farm, you want your people to be happy and healthy. Okay, and we can see that our town center is done. And we have more things to read and more tutorial to do. I know that this part is boring, and so if you want to skip this part of the video and go to the part after we are at Town Center 6, then I would not blame you. I just don't want to pause and restart the video to make it more clunky. I think it's better to keep it smooth and ongoing. And yeah, you can see that I'm about to die here, and then I will just respawn, so not a big deal. I did just kind of want to show that a little bit. And we got victory, and so I will go back to the town. And this part is going to unlock some more things. So now we have heroes. One tip with heroes is that they have different skills, and you should go in and read these skills of your heroes. You should not just blindly be using them. But if you do blindly use them, don't feel bad. That's what I used to do all the time, and what I still do to some extent because I haven't had time to read them all. So now it's going to take us to the conquest portion and force us to put him in. This is another part where if you're farther in the game, you're going to be like, oh no, I forgot this happened, because we have this lovely speed up button and auto button. So you can see he has a skill, and you have to click it to make it work. During this portion of the game, what I normally do again is leave my phone on while I do something else. And then, like, just let it play through itself. We'll go back to the town for now. And we'll collect our lovely rewards. When you want to be as fast as possible, then it's important as soon as it finishes making you do things, that you go ahead and come back over here. We look at what we need for our town center, and we go ahead and start those upgrades. Some upgrades will trigger more tutorial. Spending our keys. And one thing I will note is that when you spend these keys, then you get shards. So these are hero shards. And then you also get speed ups and resources and XP. So for hero shards, it's actually better to save them until you have events coming up where you get extra points for using them. Because then, instead of just spending something, you're spending it and getting rewards back, like speed ups. So you don't have to save your XP though, so I can go ahead and upgrade him. But here where we ascend using hero shards, that's what I will wait to do until there is an event. So we'll upgrade him with XP, and then you can click skills here, and this is where you can read about his different skills. So attack speed, damage, more damage. And so all those skills are things to keep in mind when you use Quinn. And then when we come here to Howard, we see that he has more defense skills. So this one is giving us more damage, but this one is giving us defense. Damage taken down. So reducing the damage that we're taking. Okay, and I'll go ahead and upgrade him 1 level 2, because we're about to use both of these guys in our conquest. One other thing, as the game progresses, you do get used to ignoring the little red dots. But let's talk about what puts them there. Let me just start the next building really quick. Okay, starting my buildings. I'm just going here to confirm like what else I need. Again, just that building. Okay, and let's talk about the red dots. So these red dots, we want to mostly ignore. You really want to just get good at ignoring them fast. But for right now, you can go ahead and go up here and click this book. It'll tell you some little story about your character. But basically we're getting rid of that red dot and we're getting those free diamonds. So now I can go back, but you can see that this red dot is still here because I can recruit heroes. And I'm not really in the mood to recruit them, and so we'll leave the red dot there. Again, you want to get good at ignoring red dots because a lot of the time they tempt you to use materials that you're not ready to use. Materials that you should wait to use until you are farther in the game and at an event like those hero shards. Okay, we have this running and it will force you to use these speed ups. If you want to be stubborn, you can leave your phone open for 10 minutes and let this like just progress, or like even close your phone and just come back to the game in 10 minutes, and your town center will be done upgrading and you do not have to waste these speed ups. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and waste them. And you see that level 5 unlocks a bunch more red dot things up here that we will go through in a minute. And let me click here and look at our missions. And back to our chapter things. It wants me to use advanced recruitment. And to upgrade our sawmill. Now, why am I looking at the task and doing them? Because I know that my next town center upgrade is going to need those resources. So we click here. We need the iron mine to level 5, so we'll go ahead and start that. Okay, and then we can also click here, and we can see the resources that it needs that we don't have. And a lot of those resources, instead of waiting for them to be produced, we can just get them through completing tasks. So if we look up here, we can see the rate that we are producing things at. And so if I was not going to complete tasks to get what I need, I would have to wait this many minutes on how many resources I need. But I am going to complete the task. And you can see my 15 minutes right now. Now I have to pay the diamonds for the extra queue, and I will. You can unlock permanently, and if it was your main account, I would recommend unlocking permanently that queue. But for your farm account, that's not really a priority because I do not recommend spending money on your farm account at all. Especially if you're just using it as a farm, because you're going to be attacking it for resources anyway. Like, this is your little guy that you made just to attack and get resources. Okay, I have that going on, dude. It's very easy to become impatient. You can see we have this little upgrade and we could pick any of them, but they have different amounts of attack. I don't really think any of this will matter, but it might affect how protected your base is when people attack it. Okay, claiming all of that, and you can see those resources I was talking about. Okay, and still probably not enough to upgrade our town center, but a lot closer than we were. And I like to assign the residents before I start the upgrade, because once your upgrade is started, you kind of have to wait for it to finish to add those people. And building house 4 is on my list, so I'll go do that. One thing is that these buildings, their number, should kind of correspond to your town center. That's not true for every building, like some other buildings that we'll unlock over here, but it is true over here for sure. Most of these buildings, so your houses, your kitchen, and your clinic, all max out at level 10. All of these buildings, your mills and your quarries, they will max out at whatever your town center is. Defense towers also max out at 10. And you can see that my screen glowed red, and then this timer reset. And when I click mail, I'll see that we have a tower defense victory, and that is from the tutorial part where the guys attack your town. That can kind of happen in the background rather than you being active in it. And you could see that we could get diamonds for following them on Facebook. I'm not going to do that right now, but you're welcome to. Man, I wish I could kind of play some music and not get copyrighted. Okay, and we're going to claim this. You can see there are some good rewards in here. You get another hero and her widget for her weapons. Up here, every day that you log in, you'll get this VIP stuff. You can see how many days you've logged in. So later in the game, you might be like, what day is it? And you can check and see, oh, it's day 100. And if you joined in the beginning of the server, you can figure out your server date that way. And we can click up here and get some free resources as well. And just get rid of all those red dots. Your backpack will also often have red dots whenever you gain anything. And there's some fun things to look at in the backpack. We can go ahead and redeem these diamonds and this XP. Now, you don't want to redeem your resources until you're ready to use them, when they are unprotected like these ones are, because when someone attacks you, they will obtain those resources. You can see how much you have by going here, and you can see, okay, these are the items I have, and this is what I would have if I redeem them. And then you can see your speed up total here as well. So that's useful later on when you're doing math of how many resources and speed ups you need to have for buildings. So you can see that red dot is gone, but the minute I earn more resources, it'll come back. Okay, and I'm just waiting on resources there, so I'm going to keep doing tasks. Sorry, I got distracted. Okay, and then clearing conquest stage 2. So again, this is something I recommend you kind of put on the background and just click buttons when you can. So you can hit fight. And I almost never trigger the skills. I just kind of let it run. I will trigger them now just for like trying to speed things up. But normally if I'm making an ult, I just leave it and let it run. We'll hit continue and fight. It's so slow. And now I got all those resources. When I go back, my backpack will be lit up again, and I can just click into it and out of it. Starting some upgrades really quick, and then going back. Again, another boring part of the playthrough that you can just kind of skip through if you don't want to watch that. And we'll just hit continue and fight. And now we have unlocked auto casting for these skills, and so then you really don't have to click them at all. The auto button will click them for you. And you can see up here that the rebels power is already more high than our power, and we're still winning because that's just how the game is designed. I think it's supposed to be kind of strategy outweighs pure power. So if you have a good strategy, then you can overcome a stronger opponent, which is true like on a player versus player level as well, where maybe a smaller powered player just in numbers beats a larger powered player by using good strategy. But to some extent, power is also accurate. And we are already more than 30 minutes in, and we still don't have Town Center 6 with the ability to join alliances. If I had used speed ups and things, maybe it would go by faster. But I'm just pointing that out to kind of point out that creating an ult account does take up a little bit of time to get it to the point where you can join alliances. And I mean, keep in mind though that we did unlock the ability to switch back to our other character a good amount of time ago. And so what you could do is just start this one day, spend those 10 minutes where you're locked out of your other character, and then just go back and do these other tasks over time. Especially if you just don't have a lot of time, you just want to farm account and you can attack for resources. And your account is going to have, um, sorry, it's forcing us to go upgrade. Your account is going to have a shield on it, remember, until you make a first attack or until you reach Town Center 12. And so the fact that you have a shield on it also takes away some of that urgency where you can just kind of chill and play this account very casually. One other thing is that whenever I'm doing Conquest, I look at how many people I have alive, and that tells me a good amount about how many more levels I can go. So the fact that both of my heroes stayed alive means that I can go a good amount more. Normally when you start getting where you're winning, but you only have like these little guys left, that's when you start going, oh, maybe I should go upgrade something, or maybe I should stop for the day. We are almost through completing level 10, thankfully, because this part is so boring. Okay, and we are about to finish up level 10, and then we'll go back and check on our ability to upgrade that town center. So the game kind of works in steps where you have different town center goals that you want to rush to. And we can talk about that a little bit more too. Let me see what resources we just got. We still need a little bit more iron. And none of these options are giving us iron. So we might have to wait a little bit. Let's just see what other building upgrades we can make. One thing you can do is you can buy resources. So I could go here and obtain this iron. So you see how it says yield? That means I don't have enough in my backpack. And as you progress, there will be the option to buy this with diamonds, but it doesn't let you at this point of the tutorial. I'm so impatient, aren't I? So you have these coin upgrades. You don't always want to spend all your coins, but it does increase your production time. Later on in the game, the coins will feel like meaningless because you'll have plenty of them. But for now, it's not meaningless. Let's see if we can get resources from this attack as well. I already saw that said no iron, but we'll try it anyway. And what I was going to tell you about rushing town center numbers is, so town center 6 will give you the ability to join alliances. Then town center 10 will give you the ability to DM. Town center 12 is where your shield will automatically come off. And then town center 15 is where you're going to be able to make group chats in your DMs. So those are like the main town centers people rush in the very early stage. Then later, people will rush town center 25 because that will give you your ability to use charms on your governor. And they'll also rush town center 30 after that because then you get you get troop level 10. Okay, going back to the town. Okay, where it says auto loot, that's what I was telling you about chests being picked up automatically. We can see there were some resources in there. And because I already showed you auto loot, I am going to go ahead and pick these up because I'm very impatient for iron and I am hoping that they have iron. Another thing you can do is try keys for resources. So a little bit of iron there. I will say that saving keys is smart because just like saving shards for events, there are events with keys where you might want to save those. But for right now, for these purposes, for a farm account, I am going to go ahead and draw. And let's see where we're at with iron. I'm so close. I'm so close. It's driving me crazy. Oh wait, I just got some that's in my backpack. We should be good. Yes, we are good. Okay. Don't judge me too much, guys. I'm just impatient. And for this 30-minute one, we are going to use speed ups just because I want to hurry up and just get to it. But I do recommend that if you are playing on your own time, not to use speed ups to save them. And now we have to build more buildings. We are at Town Center 6, so we can join an alliance soon, but it's going to make us walk through this part first. So in your intel center, you'll actually end up having 4 different kinds of intel, and even more than that sometimes depending on events. But it will make you practice 2 kinds. So it'll make you practice rescuing, kind of a good opportunity to get some troops sometimes. You can see I got a little bit of troops from that. And then we're going to use those troops to come over here and attack this little wolf. And I always check my mail just to make sure I get all my resources. One thing I wanted to point out earlier is that you can see the world chat at level 5, but then you can only type in it and talk in it once you're at level 6. And now that we're at level 6, we will go ahead and send a message here. And you can see that I have the default picture and I have a default username as well. And so I probably won't get that much response actually, because the veterans of the game, or especially once you're more than 1 day into the server, people kind of have established. You need to have an established name and be like trackable and interactable. And so I'll go ahead and change this. Queen Lace is kind of my normal name, and so Princess Lace is a name I like for alts. I wanted to point out if I add a space at the end of this, then it will not work. You have to have it without a space. So sometimes you'll type in a username and it'll say like not available, and you'll think that someone else has it, but actually you're just putting a space. Okay, and now I have a name, and then I am going to go ahead and change the picture as well in 1 second. Okay, so you can see that I have changed that. One thing to note is that you can only change things with a custom, like uploaded avatar every 3 days, so every 76 hours. If you want to change it in between that time, you can go back to these defaults, but you cannot put it in a new picture. Okay, so now that I'm no longer blank, I'll go back. And see how they hit change. Because they automatically wanted that. And When you are this small, again, like I said, joining an alliance is going to speed up your progression, but a lot of alliances have like power caps. And I'm not going to join just a random alliance because I know that they know me and they'll be kind of annoyed if I just join randomly. And so what I can do is I can invite myself to my other alliance, or I can see if anyone here can invite me. So it'll just depend on how ready people are to be welcoming a small player. You can also see that some events and stuff unlocked up here with our new town center, and I'll go ahead and click through that. A lot of it is alliance dependent, like this one. You have to be in an alliance, but Hall of Governors is not. You have to click that in order to get rid of the red dot. And I will just go back into my town and keep working on buildings until I get invited to an alliance. Or if I get impatient enough, I will go invite myself with my main character. A lot more things to claim. These daily tasks are kind of like the bare minimum of what you should be doing with your farm every day. Even when you're not playing it, not talking to people on it, getting those rewards will help you out. So remember how I said ignore red dots? You don't really normally ignore them up here. And so you can see that's why I'm clicking through all these options and clicking just to get rid of all my dots. And I removed this tip box to get rid of that red dot as well. One thing with this harbor drill event is that you can save your keys instead of drawing from chests, and that will help you out more than just opening a bunch of chests, because then in the next event you'll have extra keys, whereas the pearls do expire. I would really like if someone would invite me to their alliance. I don't want to have to go and fight myself. Just scrolling up and tagging people from my alliance. Because I don't want to have to go invite myself. Man, that's kind of lazy of me. I should just go do it. Okay, and even like these barracks buildings, they will match the level of our town center, so we can go up to level 6 right now. This guard station is one that will not match your level of your town center though. As you can see here, I have to have town center 7 to upgrade it to level 2. so it will stay kind of lagging behind. Wow, okay, he's kind of mean. I guess that means don't join bar, guys, if you are users from 1901. Just kidding, just kidding. So I go here. I can see that they did invite me. Um, but I wanted to show that invites appear across your screen as well. So I want to see if I can get one more invite. Maybe me pushing my luck. Because I was too busy talking instead of being on the screen waiting. So these 2-minute upgrades would be going instantly though if I'm in an alliance. And so I probably will cave very quickly and just join one. And it makes us issue this decree. You can see it was -10 mood for everyone. But it won't be the end of the world. Wow, no one has invited me. No one wants me around. Okay, well I guess I will stop pushing my luck and accept this invite. Because I am impatient. And you can see it says I joined. I will automatically get a welcome notice. And now you have access in this chat to your alliance chat. But you still cannot DM people. You can DM yourself, but you can't DM other people. So you can see when I click on him, it will say must reach town center 10. You can become their friend though. You can click here and add friends. There's no real point in adding someone as a friend on the game. What it does is it will let you see them up here in this list, and you'll be able to tell when they're active or not active. And that actually is more useful for your enemies than it is for your friends. So if you have like an excuse to send your enemy a friend request, they may think it's just a cute little friend invite when it's really a way to see if they're online so that you can attack when they're not expecting it. Okay, and now I'm going to go back to my buildings. This is kind of the last thing I wanted to show is that they can go way faster. So when we look at this building and I hit upgrade and help, you see how that 3-minute upgrade just went instantly. So 7 minutes here, I hit help instantly. So alliances are a game changer, especially being in a top alliance. So if we go here to our leaderboard, we see that this alliance is going to be like in the top 10 for sure, even in the top 6. Being in a top 10 alliance though is what I recommend for if you want to grow fast. But especially in the early stages, an alliance that is at, like, let's say 12 that person could gain enough people to come up here to B10. So also don't just focus on power. A lot of determining if an alliance is good depends on like how well it's managed, if it's organized, if you have veteran people running it that have played the game before, because they can give you a lot of tips on how to grow faster. We can also see here that I can contribute to the alliance tech, and that's going to give me alliance coins up here, and then I can use those in the alliance token shop here and buy some cool things. Okay, I think that's enough of a tutorial for right now. Next thing for this guy is to upgrade my town center to level 10, that way I can talk to people. But for now, that's where I'm going to leave it. You can see this red dot means I have a private message. I'm kind of nervous to see what it is, so I'm going to pause the video for one moment. It was just one of our R4s talking to me. Because I'm supposed to be doing schoolwork and instead I'm recording this video, so they're calling me out on my lies. But now I cannot respond to them because I am still not level 10. One caveat or loophole to that though is that if you're in a group message in your DMs, you can respond to that. So if you want to talk to people and you can't, you can get your friend to add you to group chats, and that will allow you to talk even though you normally can't. But just one-on-one you still can't until you're level 10. Okay, so everything else you kind of just click, follow your tasks here. You can join rallies. If you're really small, then doing something like joining a level 4 rally is actually kind of detrimental to the team. So I recommend not doing that and joining other rallies instead. If the people on your team are strong enough, then being small and joining those rallies won't affect them. But because I know level 4 is kind of new to us and takes higher power, that's why I avoided joining that one. So you can kind of be mindful when you have an alt about, not wanting to be detrimental to your team. And yeah, I think that's all I have for right now. Comment any questions below, or if you have advice on how to speed this up, or other good components of making an alt or farm. Please share any of your advice in the comments or questions in the comments. I hope you have a great day. Thank you.